So the Prime Minister of Slovakia, a guy called Robert Fico, has just been shot in public. Now, looking at the video, and according to the mainstream media, then again, it's the mainstream media, isn't it? The guy who shot him was a 71-year-old, and that's all we know. But why him, and why now? Well, Sky News, or Sly News, they tried to legitimise the shooting when they did the reporting on it by having one of their regular political pundits come on and completely destroy the guy's character. They said that Slovakia is a horrible country, it's a divisive country. He described Robert Fico as a populist, a nationalist, and far right. And when he said Robert Fico wants the war in the Ukraine to finish, this pundit suggested that what he really meant was he wanted Russia to win. I mean, my goodness, how does he know? Now, make of this what you will, but last week he made a speech, and I have to change some of the words because YouTube, being the platform that it is, won't take too kindly to it. Anyway, he said, and I quote, "I also clearly declare that we, the Slovakia Democratic Party, will not support strengthening the powers of the World Health Organization. One study after another confirms the scandalous consequences of mass jabbing with experimental untested jabs. If someone had a different opinion on jabs against the plague, they were dangerous to society." End quote. Of course, saying such things goes against the grain, doesn't it? And let me tell you about other things that he did as well. He passed legislation to block Islam from gaining official status as a religion in Slovakia, and he stopped sending his country's tax money to Ukraine and Zelensky. I mean, it's hard not to have your conspiracy hat on when you listen to what this man said and done, and the next thing you know, he's been shot and in critical condition. This was literally days after Fico formally and publicly rejected the World Health Organization Global Pandemic Accord, which would have given them enormous powers, more than they should have really. And he was one of the few Western leaders to call for peace in the Ukraine. He wasn't calling for Russia to win, and he wasn't calling for the Ukraine to surrender. All he said was he wanted the war to finish. And who doesn't? Nobody, and I mean nobody, is calling for Russia and the Ukraine to come to a table and talk it out and just stop the fighting, stop the killing. But it seems the woke left, they are really invested in this conflict and shown themselves to be the proper warmongers that they are. And if you look at Slovakia before Robert Fico came into power, and this is from people who were there and they've written on social media, the country was in full, strict lockdown and a proper jab police state. Then the government changed and it progressed into sanity. And this was done under Robert Fico. And so we come to the shooting. I wouldn't put it past the globalists really, or the EU even, to be behind this, because the guy is a friend of Viktor Orban and everyone who fought against the EU. So when Guy Verhofstadt, he posted this on Twitter, and I can't help but think the guy doesn't give a damn about this guy getting shot, and he's secretly pleased, because Verhofstadt is a nasty, nasty individual if you watch his speeches in the EU Parliament. And also, I wouldn't put it past them, the same people who were behind this assassination attempt, to have thought about it at least as a way of dealing with Nigel Farage, because he's been a proper spanner in the EU works, hasn't he? And once again, you know, Sly News's hit job on Robert Fico was pretty vile, and they are quite literally and openly fueling enthusiasm for the Ukraine war and smear anyone who's calling for peace talks. That's what I think, and I hope the guy recovers and becomes an even bigger thorn on the side of the EU. And there we go, I'm past 49. Thanks for listening, and until the next time, Roger Trout.